The Sixers have now lost 2 games in a row, one to the Denver Nuggets, one to the Boston Celtics, and the one to the Boston Celtics. They blew a 26-point lead in the second half. I don't even we're not doing no intro on this one because I'm just so frustrated with this team. The second that they have like a great run of games, they win like 4 in a row, 3 or 4 in a row. Tyrese Maxey has had the best stretch of his career, I feel like, and within 2 games, it all goes downhill, right? Like, I can't even, it's just what the Sixers are at this point. Like, the second you get hope, especially this season, the second you get hope, it quickly comes crashing right back down because you come back to reality of what this team actually is. And the game tonight versus the Boston Celtics, it's not even that they blew the lead, right? Because you expect that they are going to get hot some nights. They're going to blow some lead. They're going to start winning some games, and they're going to blow the leads just because of the roster that is out there on the court. Because Joel Embiid and Paul George are not playing, and half the roster is still hurt, right? It's not even that. It's how they blow the lead. And it's just a continuous thing of the way they have blown leads in the past. It just never goes away. Tonight, you are going against a team in the Boston Celtics that are known for only shooting threes. That is all they want to do. They want to get to their spacing, and they just want to shoot a bunch of threes all game. So your best bet is probably making them drive and forcing them to take twos, which you should just live with at this point, right? But cool. So first half and most of the third quarter, they do that, right? They're forcing the Celtics to take tough twos. They were also missing their threes. The Sixers were able to get away with some zone here and there throughout the game. Good, fine, I get it. The Sixers are also hot, knocking down every three. The vibes are high. Everybody, they're playing electric. Maxey is having a great game, ended tonight with 34 points. And then you could see the Celtics, they wanted to just give up. Like, the 26-point lead happens. They wanted to give up. They wanted to end the game. They wanted to just go home, right? You can see that they were just waiting to give the Sixers the game. So, as this is happening, all right, I think Sam Hauser hits a 3. Derek White hits a 3. And you could see this, all right, the Celtics they're about to try to make a run. And Nick Nurse just sits in this 2-3 zone with Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry on the court. And he just sits in this 2-3 zone and watches the Celtics get hot. And somebody was saying, like, it's just, they just started making threes. No, that's not what it was. You could have prevented that. You could have easily prevented that, right? You could have just went back to forcing them to make tough twos and just live with the results. I know you have Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry out there. You don't want them playing man defense on Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Drew Holiday, but whatever, right? This is just something that you just have to live with. Nick Nurse stays on to hit 2 threes, and you're like, all right, now just, this is where, as a coach, you're supposed to, all right, let's just go back to man. They're obviously about to get hot. This is all they want to do. This is the only way they can get back in the game is if they just hit a bunch of consecutive threes, right? But guess what happens? Nick Nurse doesn't get out of the zone. The Celtics continue to drive, kick, swing, get open threes continuously and continuously make threes and get hot again. And it's just like, what? As a coach, like, you, as a fan, you see it, right? You're like, just stop letting them shoot threes. Like, get out of the zone, go to man, force them to drive the ball, and don't overhelp, right? But of course, Nick Nurse doesn't do that. He sits in his zone. The Celtics end up knocking down a bunch of threes to get back in the game. The only way, they cut it to a single-digit game. 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Then you have to, like, force Maxey, and he has to play the rest of the way. And it's just like a continuous coaching thing with this team, right? Like, I don't understand as a coach how you don't see they are torching. They only want to shoot threes. I have this theory about the Celtics, right? That if you just force them to take layups all game, they're going to mentally get checked out because they don't want to do that. They only want to shoot threes, step back threes, drive, kick. That's all they want to do. So just force them to the basket all game, and they're eventually just going to get frustrated because they don't want to do that. So I don't understand how you can just sit back in the 2-3 zone and watch them get hot, right? I don't understand it. And then you don't switch up your defense until you bring Maxey back in. And by this time, you're already falling off of a cliff. The Celtics are now hot. They're going on a run. They have all the momentum. And then you bring in Maxey. On top of that, after they brought in Maxey didn't touch the ball for like 3 straight possessions. And we saw like rookie council ISOs, Kelly Oubre ISOs. And it's like, bro, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? What's happening right now? And it's just like, it's a constant thing of going back to coaching. There is no way, and I understand like you're playing who the guys are on the court, but Nick Nurse couldn't draw anything up for Maxey to touch the ball. Those 3 possessions that he had to come back in and try to weather the storm of what the Celtics were doing. Nothing. We saw, like I said, we saw a rookie council ISO. We saw a Kelly Oubre ISO. Obviously, everything went bad, right? And it's like the Sixers are, and they have been for years, like one of the worst teams in identifying mismatches. Because while the Celtics were going on this run, Luke Kornet and Sam Hauser were on the court. So in your mind, you're like, all right, we have Tyrese Maxey. We're just going to constantly put Luke Kornet or Sam Hauser in a pick and roll situation and force them to guard. They didn't do that until I think like the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter. And I think like the Celtics already had like a 5-point lead at that point. And it's just like, what are we doing? Because that's all the Celtics were doing all game. Like once they cut the lead down, they said, all right, now we're just going to start attacking mismatches. We're going to get Maxey switched on to Jason Tatum. We're going to get Kristaps switched on to Jason Tatum. And our bigger wings and guards switched on to Tyrese Maxey. I'm sorry I said Jason Tatum, but we're going to get Tyrese Maxey switched on to them. And then we're just going to back him down and try to get easy looks because we could just shoot over him. The Sixers never exploit mismatches. And when they did finally do it versus Luke Kornet, they got a 4-on-3 opportunity that led to a Kelly Oubre open 3 that he hit. And it's like, why weren't we already doing this? And immediately after that, Joe Mazzulla takes Kornet out of the game. All right. So you just exploit mismatches. You could have prevented all of this. And it's just constantly going back to coaching. I don't know what I expect anymore out of this season, but I thought that they were finally turning a corner. You can look at it and say, all right, well, I guess they still can make a run because they are 1 game back from the 10th seed. I guess they could make a run, possibly try to get the 8th seed. You get Joel Embiid back, Paul George eventually, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And you try to make the run that way. But now it's just like going back to what are we actually doing here? Because you could tell Tyrese Maxey is getting frustrated. Yabusele played great tonight, but like it's just frustrating to watch, and it's just a constant thing of how they lose games. I don't care about them losing games. It's how they do it consistently, and it's what they have done all season. They just go on these long scoring droughts where they just forget how to play basketball, and that is a coaching issue because you are supposed to be the one where you see if your team gets into like a little spell of a cold streak or something, you look at it and you say, all right, let's just run something easy here. Let's try to get an open shot. If it goes in, it goes in. If not, it's not. We have to get an open look out of this, and we can't continue to make this tough. And it's just like, dog, that never happened tonight. Everything was just forced at the end of that game. And honestly, like I said, I was going to go back to Joel Embiid and Paul George. I just want to say this. This isn't fair to Tyrese Maxey. I don't care. Like I said, he is on one of the best stretches of his career where he has shown. I was expecting him to take a leap this year. I wasn't expecting him to take this leap, this leadership leap. He is playing like an actual superstar. I was not expecting this fast from Maxey, but playing like this without Joel Embiid and Paul George and willing the Sixers to that 4-game winning streak or the wins that he has been able to will them to. And even tonight had a great game. The game against the Nuggets had a great game. I think he had 42 in the Nuggets game. I forget what he had, but just being able to put the team on his back and elevate the play of others like Gershon Yabusele, Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon, Justin Edwards, being able to elevate those guys, something that I wasn't expecting from Tyrese Maxey this early in his career, especially being one of the main options for the Philadelphia 76ers. But it's happened. But now I'm looking at it and it's just like, this isn't fair to him. He is going out there, putting his body on the line, going to war every night with Gershon Yabusele, Kelly Oubre, and some G Leaguers, while his 2 co-stars and his 2 running mates are not playing basketball. They're just looking on, watching all of this happen. Joel Embiid hasn't played basketball in a month. But we have videos of him doing a handstand guarding Tyrese Maxey in practice, right? That's cool. That's dope. Yeah, keep giving us that type of content, even though we just signed him to an extension and we're seemingly handcuffed to him for the next 3 to 4 years. Just, yep. He's just not going to play basketball this month. Then there's no timetable on when he will return. Everything is a day-to-day, but he has not played in a month. I don't know what's going on there. Paul George, don't even get me started on him. He jammed his pinky 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and he still has not come back yet. And he just refuses to play. And this isn't fair to Tyrese Maxey. You are constantly telling him to go out there, give it all he has with the roster that's out there with that is constructed full of G Leaguers and guys that honestly should not be getting rotational minutes because the Sixers are so injured. And you just look over and Joel Embiid and Paul George are just constantly on the sideline. And it's like and you could tell Maxey is just getting frustrated with it all. And it's not exactly like Embiid and Paul George's fault, but at some point, like, we can be mad at them, bro. Like, they need to be playing. I don't know, bro. It's just not fair to him, especially with him taking this leap. At this point, I said it earlier, since he has shown that he has taken this leap, he has shown he can be a leader of a team and a possible number one option, if you want to look at him that way, moving forward, going down the road. The Sixers he's shown out and he's shown the Sixers, hey, I can be this guy. The Sixers just have to trust him at this point and do what's right, because the Sixers, they have been fun to watch. They have been exciting. They have been up and down. They have been playing defense. This is all with Tyrese Maxey and like Justin Edwards, Ricky Council, Gershon Yabusele, Kelly Oubre. So just like imagine if you put a team, like an actual team around Tyrese Maxey, how fun this team could be and what you can build off of going forward in the future, right? The Sixers just have to trust him to take that next leap. You can honestly start at the deadline by acquiring somebody, look into the offseason, I guess, and then you just try to get off of the Paul George contract. Move Embiid. Luka just got moved, so anybody can be moved at this point. But it's not fair to Tyrese to continue to tell him to do this while his running mates look on and watch all of this happen, and you have no idea when either one of them will be back. You have no idea when you're getting help. I don't know, bro. This loss was very annoying, but once you look back at it, it's like, what were they like? This shouldn't be what this season is. Like, what were they supposed to do even in that time? Like, the Celtics just loaded up on Tyrese Maxey, and then he's passing out of a double team to Ricky Council and asking Ricky Council to make a decision. Ricky Council was sent to the G League a week or two ago. Like, what are we doing at this point, man? But like, I don't know. They should have traded for Zach LaVine instead of signing Paul George once you found out you were not even the second option that Paul George wanted to go to. He doesn't want to be here. Chalk it. He does not want to be here. He signed for the most money that he could possibly get, and he's checked out. And that's showing because he won't play because he jammed his pinky on his non-dominant hand. It's whatever. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section below about this loss. Your feelings overall about the team. I'll holla at y'all.